All right. I can't believe I'm streaming at 4 a.m. It's absolutely insane. Just a little crazy, but it's okay. It's fine. We're just drinking an energy drink at 4 a.m. A little crazy. It's okay. It's fine. This is going to be our new normal. But also, I've been watching a not a tutorial video, but like a beginner's guide or something of this game. And I've been learning a lot of new things. I learned that I've been following these quests on the side behind my head, and that isn't the quest to follow. Those are side quests, and essentially don't do those. I should only be doing the main story quest, which is called which people call MSQ, main story quest. That makes sense. And it's up here. Tell me how I didn't look up here at all, not once, ever since I've played this game. So now we're doing that. There's also a bunch of other quests that we should just be ignoring for now, at least in the beginning. It said, like, he was like, in the beginning, you should just be following the quests, the main story quests. So that's what we're doing. Yeah, I wasn't looking there. So he said we should be following the main story quests because that's what gives us like mounts and flying abilities and all these cool things that we essentially want, and will make our life easier. It'll open up dungeons and things like that too. So that's what we're working on now then, is just the main story quests. I'm only level 11, so you do get them out at level 20. But now we have to kind of play catch up because I have not been doing the main story quests at all. Okay, just passing through. Will you be staying a while? Here is a letter. Fufulupa. Fufulupa. What kind of name is that? Fufulupa. Sent you all this way for a late letter? Despite my demotion, he continues to call me captain. I suspect he has no idea what it means to be transferred to Lost Hope either. The brass blades don't give a something arse about the settlement. No one in Ulda does. Yay. Okay. We leveled up. But yeah, so I am level 13 then. Look how ugly I look. Oh, look at me. I'm ugly. But it's the best gear that I can get right now, okay? The best that I can get. So that's what we're gonna look like. Okay. A band of outlaws have taken up residence in the Cuervo Mans on the ridge to the south. I hate that ugly gear is the best. Yeah, like, I feel like when you start these types of games, at first you look ugly. Like, that's just, like, how it is. Like, you just look ugly. So, we're gonna look ugly at first. It's okay. But then eventually you look cool. Like, I follow so many people that play this game, and they look so pretty. You want to be strong and pretty. For real. I wonder if you'll like this game. Here today. Okay, you want me to go all the way over there? Jesus. Okay. If there's quests, there's 99% chance I will. I mean, it's literally just quests. Like, it's like a crap ton of quests. The main story quests, and then you have the side quests. Like, it's literally just quests. Oh, am I not supposed to be in here? I don't think I'm supposed to be in here. No, it says up. Look how cute these little salamander things are. Okay. How do we get up is the question. I'm gonna guess this way. Sometimes I get confused as to where exactly I'm supposed to be going. Like, I know I'm supposed to go here. Okay. Excuse me? Excuse me! In my video right now, I'm learning about combat. I didn't finish that part though. It's an 1.5-hour video. Ow, that hurt. Oh, absolutely not. I know. Yuck. Oh, oops. Yeah, please leave me alone. Oh, okay. I think I have to go this way. One thing that I've noticed is MMOs love bugs. Also, look at these things. Look at them. Look at him. Look at that one running. Look at her running away. So cute. So cute. This is the cutest cactus I've ever seen. I know. Oh. Excuse me. What's this? I didn't realize that we were going into battle. Why did you kill a baby? I'm gonna die! 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 Oh my god, I'm gonna die! Oh my god, I'm gonna die! Oh my... I wasn't prepared for all of that. Okay. It's not a baby. It's like a it's a race. It's like a dwarf or something. Karma for killing a baby. It's like a dwarf or something. It's like a dwarf. Okay, we're gonna go back. We're gonna try this again. I don't have any healing. I'm not a healer. So we're gonna try this again. But yeah, it's not a baby. You can actually be one if you wanted to. It's like, it's a dwarf or whatever. Oh my god. Why are there two of them? Yeah, you can be one. You can be a couple of different things. I actually wonder what you're gonna pick. Okay, I need to heal. How does one heal? Do I just sit here? Okay, I just heal. Okay, I'm healed. We're gonna try to avoid that antling thing. Okay, you know what? Okay, we're not avoiding it. We're not avoiding it at all. Should I see about foodies? You should. You definitely should. Can I, like, drink something? If I eat this, it gives me an XP bonus, 3%. But yes, the tacos, right? That's what you're gonna do? Yes. Yeah, do it. God damn it. God dang it. Okay. Everything is fine. I say get tacos. What are you gonna get in the tacos? Okay. Okay, we're gonna heal. We're gonna heal. We're gonna heal a little. Their only options are taco sauce, cheese, lettuce, sour cream, and jalapenos. Ooh, okay, well. I guess that works out because all that sounds good except for the jalapenos. I'm hungry too, but I was like, I don't really want more rice. You got them for $3? All 6 of them? What? And I had a $6 on a gift card. Yay! Free tacos! Free tacos! Free tacos. That sounds yummy. I also found out if there's like a dotted line around it, it means that you should be using that. Is what I found out. Hello? Okay. So I should use, right? Or no? I thought this gives me MP. It does. Why does it not let me use it then? What is this? Oh. Die! These little people. Okay. Okay, I can get at it. Oh my god, they're back. They've spawned back. I don't want to fight them again. Like, I really did not want to fight them again. Okay. We gotta go this way. I am also learning the map more, I feel like, because before I was very confused on how to use the map and how to read it, and just very confused. I'm figuring it out. And you can play on controller if you want to. It's actually not too bad to play on controller. I was playing on controller, but I ended up switching. I know. You like when you can play with controller. Let's see. Let's get the gloves. Deliver an item. Okay. Gotta go get tacos. Go get your tacos, baby. Okay. Where are we going? Oh, there's a thing right here. Oh, this girl's still here. Oofaloopa. Oofaloopa, what's up? Oofaloopa. I shall respect the captain's wishes and take the dagger into safekeeping until he comes to reclaim it. Okay. We leveled up. Oofaloopa needs you to assist his fellow brass blades. The brass blades of the Rose need your assistance once more, Elowen. As the area is rife with wild beasts, the Horizon Garrison has been charged with their security, but Captain Baldwin sent only a handful of brass blades, despite his assurances to the contrary. Okay. So pretty much you need me to kill things. I got you. I got you, no worries. It's this way. Go kill things, essentially, is what you are telling me to do. I got you. I should have went live on TikTok too. I didn't go live on TikTok this time, mainly because I didn't want to set it up and I was too lazy. But ooh, what's this area? Leading venture, come to help. I ain't heard nothing from Captain Baldwin about this. He said trusted men only. Wants you to deliver a message to Crescent Grove. Hey, adventurer, mind running a message to Crescent Grove for us? Captain Baldwin's planning some festivities. Nothing but the best for distinguished guests, huh? Head west and south to the village and tell Ref that he's to deliver a bounty of fresh fish to Horizon for the feast. Okay. No problem. I can do that. I can do that. Don't you worry. You trusted me with your... What is hitting me? Okay. How dare you attack me? This bird is going to attack me, so I'm just going to attack it first. In the video that I was watching, he even explained some like boss things, stuff that bosses do. So I'm really excited to like eventually go into dungeons and stuff and beat bosses. That's gonna be fun. Over there. Fresh fish for Captain Baldwin. Of course, we will do our best, madam. Unfortunately, we had a poor catch in recent days on account of the rough seas. More boats should be returning soon, but I cannot promise that their catch will please. But don't worry, milady, my captain will have his fish. I swear by it. A bone staff. Ooh. Let's take that. Class quest rewards. There will be some actions which only can be learned by completing specific class quests. For example, the Rage Lancer weapon skill Piercing Talon is acquired by completing the Lancer's Guild quest available at level 15. Okay. Okay, here's a quest. Late night, a gang of bandits from the Covern Manse were in their cups, and I overheard them discussing their plans. It seemed they've come to collect gemstones stolen from Copperbell mines. I think I heard one say they are to meet their conspirator soon at the Footfalls. Is that Foofaloopa? It's Foofaloopa. Oh my god. You must have stopped him before it's too late. Captain Baldwin himself is working with the bandits. Oh my god. What? Captain Baldwin is working with the bandits? Why did paint open? Paint just opened. On my computer. I see you. I'm here. Okay. Oh, wait. Oh, yeah, he's right here. Level 18? I'm level 15. Does that matter, I guess? Probably doesn't matter. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. Captain Baldwin, sir, I've discovered something shocking, something horrible. Someone has been stealing gemstones from copper mines and... Oh my god! Are you working with this man? It cannot be. I told you to stay in Horizon, Foofaloopa. It didn't have to be like this. They get their national... I can't say that word. I'd get my Jill, and none would be the wiser. But sir, what if your crimes are uncovered? You goddamn fool, don't you see? I'm acting under the authority of Lord Lorito himself. No, that can't be true. Why do you think people join the Brass Blades, Floofaloopa? To serve and protect? Ha, you're not the bloody flames here. We do this for the coin. You see it? You there, adventurer? Do you remember me? Well, I remember you. Oh, you killed my brother, and now I'm going to return the favor. Oh, we must fight them. You're back. Welcome back. Oh, did you get gas too? Gross. Oh, I didn't see this last one over here. Oh, this one too. Can't believe that's crazy that it was that much money. Like, I'm concerned as to how much my car is going to be. That's enough, Baldwin. Your partner is dead and your plans are undone. I don't even want to know. Me either. Every fisherman in Crescent Cove knew about your meeting, you arrogant fool. Quiverman's men couldn't keep their mouths shut. Imagine Lord Lolorito surprised when he learned that a rank and file brassblade was using his name to advance a personal agenda. He knows, seven hells, but I'm a captain. He wouldn't. I was once a captain too, remember? And we both know what happened to me. Well fought, boy. You've done the brassblades on the rose plowed. Oh my god. No shortage of greedy sods, some who'd probably sell their own mothers into slavery if the price was right. But there are men like you, Fufalupa, men good and true, whom the small folk respect. Which is why I gave you the dagger. The brass blades of the rose need a leader with honor, and you're the most honorable man I know. Aw, stop, that's so cute. Thank you for all your help, Elowen. The captain and I will escort Captain Baldwin back to Horizon. Pray visit me in what? Pray visit me in town when next you return. Bam, 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 bam. He's so cute. He was crying. He was adorable. My god, this girl is still here. I literally sent you a picture of her, and she's still sitting here. Oompa would entrust you with a matter of grave importance. I salute you, honored friend, as Captain. AFK, yeah, she's definitely AFK. As acting captain, I should be much obliged if you would grant me a personal request. They're so cute. They are cute. One of two things, cute or evil. I guess the ones that I was killing were evil, but they're cute still. Our search unearthed this sealed letter addressed to a man named Alwyn. He is one of the Sultan's Warren elite. I can think of no reason why he should have no dealings with Baldwin. We now know that the former captain was consorting with a coalition of criminals. But given the recent events, I knew not whom to trust with this information until now. I've chosen you, Elowen. Pray bear the letter to... Okay, awesome. So we just have to bring this letter to Momodi. But yeah, I saw this horse and I thought it was beautiful. Look at her outfit. She's so cute. She's giving everything I want to give. She's magical. Beautiful. But she's been AFK for like the longest time. It's a horse you can get from a trial? Really? Okay, that's good to know. That is good to know. I'm new to the game, so like I don't know anything at all. I am actually in the middle of watching, before I started streaming today, I was watching a beginner's guide video and I'm like halfway through the video. So I'm going to continue watching that after stream. But I literally don't know anything at all. I didn't even know that I was supposed to be following the main story quests until I watched this beginner's guide. So that is how new I am to the game. Like, I don't know anything. I am very excited. What? Hold on, stop what you're doing. I'm stopping. I'm stopping. To inform you of one key thing to always do your class quests when you get them. They give you new gear and abilities. Okay. Where do I find my class quest? Where do I find that? Well, he wouldn't need to worry. Alwyn's a loyal. Okay. Good. He's not a bad guy. Oh, wait. No, maybe he is. I think I know what this is all about, but I need you to swear to keep it quiet. If you'd rather wash your hands of this business, I wouldn't hold it against you, but you're determined to see it through the end. Say the word and I'll explain. Okay. For you, it is at Guild. How'd you go there in the very beginning of this game? Okay. The Guild. Okay. You see, I didn't know that. To do the class quests. I think this is a class quest. Hold on. The quest that's at the top. The outside word believes Olda to be a sultanate ruled by Sultana Namano. I can't pronounce these words. I can't wait. Supposedly, everybody keeps telling me, okay, when you walk out of this building, just take a left, keep going straight, and you'll get there. Okay, we're gonna do that. We're gonna do that right now. I can't. Everybody keeps telling me, because the reason why I can't get into this game fully is because nothing is voice acted, but everybody keeps telling me that the voice acting comes and the beginning of the game doesn't have any voice acting. And I'm like, I really like voice acting in my games. For me to fully get into the game, like for me, but everybody says that there's voice acting. So just wait and there's voice acting. I said, okay. So they had more voice acting as the game progresses. That's what everybody tells me. So they're like, just you wait. There's voice acting. Don't worry. I'm like, okay, okay. Trying to see. I can see where I'm supposed to go. Oh, over here. Can I can't teleport there? That's not how it works. Okay. Literally, I just have to walk left. Yeah, that's what everybody tells me. So I'm like, okay, we will give it a try and just continue waiting for voice acting, because I definitely like voice acting. What was that? Oh, the Moogle. Makes cute little sounds. You need to interact with the crystals to unlock them, and you use the crystals to teleport to the ones you've unlocked to the town. Oh, okay. I don't know if I unlocked this one. No, I didn't. Okay. Attuning with the shard has granted you access to the city-states. It can be used for quick insta-city travel. Nice. Okay. So how does one know if I have a quest in here? Would it pop up? Would it just pop up if I had a quest in here? And the piercing eye. Blue quest with a plus. Okay. So it doesn't look like I have anything here then. But it's good to know. So if I have a blue quest with a plus in this area to do them, and I get gear and stuff. Okay. Good to know. I guess I'm just going to continue. I think... Hi. Good morning. I mean, I guess it is morning here. It's 5 a.m. almost. Is this a blue quest? So this up here, there's the way of this one. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Probably accepted it and never did it because I see it at the top. Yeah, that's what I was wondering. I'm like, is this the quest? Okay. So I should do this quest, is what you're saying. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go to it. Oopsies, that's not what I wanted to do. We're gonna go to it. Is where the class quests show up. Okay. That's good to know. Thank you for letting me know. Because otherwise, that quest would have just been sitting there forever. Oh, I guess I could have teleported over here. And the one above it is the main story quest. Yeah, that one I didn't know until I watched this video. Because I was doing the quests that are behind my head, which I found out are side quests, and they're not really like important to do, and they don't give you as much XP and stuff like that. So I'm like, okay. So now we're working on the main story quests and stuff. The only important side quests are the blue ones with the plus icon because they unlock things. Okay. What do I do here? How do I know? Oh, okay. Do I just kill these hornets? Murder the hornets. Okay. Yeah, I'm like, do I just murder hornets? I mean, that's easy. What else do I do? Can I see? Hold on. Now the moles. Why doesn't it say? Oh, okay. Slay the snapping shrews. I just don't see them. Am I blind? By the train station. Over there. Oh, I see him. Don't run away. Hello? Okay. Okay. Nice. We did it. That was easy. So then... Can we use the big one to teleport? Or it has to be... You can? You can use the big teleport thing? Oh, nice. Okay. Nice. I'm learning. We did it. I don't know how long that quest was sitting there. The hunting log is a record of... Hello, I can't see. Of your completion of tasks involving slaying of certain creatures. By completing these tasks, you will earn rewards and unlock new challenges. Okay. I've been expecting you. Allow me to read you the passages from the opening chapter. Okay. It's most likely sitting there since the start of the game, since that was a level 1. Oh my god. It definitely was. It definitely was. And I didn't even notice. Oopsies. I didn't mean to click that. It most definitely was. We're gonna work on these quests now. And try to catch up on them. Because I think this one's level 5. And we're level 13. Something like that. The tacos were good? Good. Bruh. I just fell. I just fell. If you get all the crystals unlocked in town, you can just warp outside the town for free if you use the crystals. Oh, okay. How in the hell do I get back up there? I guess I can use this thing. Can't believe I fell. That's very like me. Very like me, very on brand. Okay. Well, one thing I learned from the video was that you can't die if you fall unless you're in battle. That's good to know. My dumbass. Yeah, unless you're in combat. So that was good to know. Because I will definitely keep falling. If you fall and enter combat when you land, you'll die. I didn't think about that. Like if you fall into enemies by mistake, that would happen to me. That would 100% happen to me. The luck that I have, that would happen to me. Okay. Oh, ads are about to start in 5 minutes. Place the dried fish with a specific location. I did it. Where? Oh. I was like, where is it? I jumped down a pit to get to my quest, not knowing where I'd land. Would spawn an enemy as part of my quest and then fall damage killed me. Oh my god, I would cry. But what happened to me? It would happen to me. They had a quest to complete that was right there. What does that thing on top of their heads mean? That little, like, circle thing. If you know. Could I have just hopped on my mount and fly down? Yes. But did I want to take the time to summon my mount? No. That, honestly, I would have done the same thing. Why do all that work, you know? Why do all that work? The icon means they are a part of your hunting log. Oh, okay. There's nothing so tender, a bit of meat pummeled with wanton wizardry. Nice doing business with you. Okay. To herself a plump. Ugh. I hate that word. I hate the word plump. Kill them till that icon vanishes to fill their spot in the hunting log to earn XP. Ooh, is it like a decent amount of XP? Because I can do that real quick since they're right there. Since they're right here, might as well. Oh. It increases the harder the enemy and the higher the rank you get. Okay. We might as well just do it since they're right here. Until the thing goes away. Okay. Are there any more? Oh, it went away. Nice. Oh, I got an achievement. Nice. Okay. So now I can go here. How do I check the hunting log? Hunting log. I figured it out. Oh, okay. We did the rusty coblin. Oh, wow. Okay, we even have, like, these... You only have to kill 3. That's not bad. That's not bad. Okay, that's good to know. That's really good to know. Okay, we're back. We have completed the quest. Here you are. Here you are, sir. Or miss. I don't know what you are. Okay. They're so cute. Look at their little cheeks. I should read everything they're saying, like out loud, but to unlock the next rank, you need to complete the previous rank and be level 10, 20, 30, 40. Okay. Is there a level cap? You promise you would teach me next. Aw. Ooh. Free trial players, it's 80. Okay. And then for like everybody else, is there a cap or no? I hate you, all of you. Okay. All right, child. Aw. Honestly, it's really good that they do a free trial. I'm gonna get the robe. Oh yeah, I know. There's an ad. You obtained an untradeable item. This item is yours and yours alone. You cannot be sold or traded. You have obtained a unique item. As this item is special, you can never possess more than one item at a time. Oh, okay. $100. Oh, that's not bad. So for free trial, you get up to level 80. Oh my god, I didn't mean to press that. Okay. I don't want to read it. I don't want to read it. Okay. Let's go over here now. Ads are over. Yay. Ooh. This thing is in our hunting log. Can go up to rank 5, so it's only good for getting them to level 50. Okay. For getting to level 50. Oh, Jesus. Okay. I feel like now that I'm a little bit more knowledgeable, like I watched the video, I still don't know anything, but because I watched the video and I'm a little bit, a tiny bit more knowledgeable, I'm like, oh, okay, I can actually enjoy this game now because I actually know what I'm supposed to be doing. When the new expansion comes out, paid level cap will be level 110. Oh, did they say when the new expansion's coming out? I don't want to go near that. I want to get this sunbat. You're behind on the news. Yeah, I don't keep up with like anything. I know so many people that play this game, so I'm like, I'm sure they posted it somewhere. Buy 10 every expansion. Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, I think this bat will have us at 3. Yes. How many more of these do we have to kill? Oh, 2 more. Okay. One more. Less than 3 hours of work to go. Yay. Okay. That's good. It's already 5 o'clock. Okay. What am I doing? What am I doing? Certain classes have a lower level cap, but that's because they're limited classes. I do know that I think it's like the blue mage or whatever has a lower level cap. So people say not to like choose that as like your main thing because it's obviously not good for like end game stuff. Yeah, blue mage. Beastmaster cap's at 50. Wow, that's low. Okay. Is that it? Oh, we have to investigate the armored war transport and obtain blood. Okay. We don't have that one. We'll have to go here. We'll have to grab it. If I don't see it on the map, I'm gonna get lost. I'm gonna get lost and I don't know where I'm going. Thank you for the follow. Appreciate you. Okay. We're gonna go this way. We're gonna actually stay on the road. Ew. His tongue was gross. Hope you're... Oh my god. I jumped. I didn't think that he was gonna be aggressive. I didn't see the thing on his head. Get away from me. His eyes are so... Oh my god. It gets me every time. Scares the hell out of me. Jeez. This thing's gonna attack me, so I'm just gonna attack it first. Okay. We're fine. That was scary. Discovered a new location. Yeah, I've never been here before. We're gonna get this thing first because it's I don't want to be in this fate. Go away. I want to attune it. I'm fine. Okay. We have to walk up now. Okay. So now we're gonna walk. Yeah, we're gonna walk this way and go to that thing. Yesterday, so when 6 a.m. hits, I'll probably be more in lurk territory than active. That's fine. That is fine. Jesus. Okay. Okay. I did it. I did it. I thought they weren't going to train her until like Monday. Or whatever. That's what I thought too. I guess Crystal got bored yesterday and started early. I mean, that's fine. That's good for her. Might as well. Might as well. 10 vials, 2030. The sight of so much ether is just so comforting. What have we here? Is this the crate that was stolen? I see Elwyn's lessons have had the desired effect. Okay. Our skills are not exactly suited from keeping others safe from harm. Oh my god, we're just trying to get him to not want to do this, but he's still like, I want to. I guess Steph and Crystal are going on vacation back-to-back weeks at the end of the month, so they're trying to get her comfortable so I have help later in the month. Oh, that makes sense. My god, why do they do that? Why do they go on vacations back-to-back-to-back? Yay, armory unlocked. You have access to the armory system. Quests to unlock the other classes can be undertaken by speaking to the receptionist in the corresponding guild. Disciples in Ezra that adventurers can take up for the most rewarding experience, however. I'm the bun boy in your guild. What? Oh, he has another quest for me. Oops, I just ran. I just clicked run. What do you mean you're the bun boy? You now have access to the armory system. Quests to unlock other classes can be undertaken. Okay, that's what they just told me already. They want me to cry. I forgot how to do the, Is it social? What? The bunny boy. How are you here? Do bunnies have tails? I was like, do you have a tail? Cool. Look at your little pet. Oh my god. You look so cool. Look at me. I look not cool. I look like a loser. That's so cool. I was like, what do you mean? Oh, I have to like pick them. I have to like select them and then press cry. Select. Cry. That's so funny though. I wanted to be the bunny girl, but I ended up, because you have to pay for it. Like it's not like in the like the regular classes. So I didn't pick her. It's free now? What? I wanted to be a bunny girl so bad. You're gonna be a bun boy. Do it. Do it. Do it. Look at the cute little thing. Look how cute. Look how cute. It's so cute. Little panda. The cutest little thing I've ever seen. They added the expansion that introduced the other two races to the free trial recently. Oh, that's so cool. I didn't know that. When I made this character, they didn't have it. They didn't add it, I guess. Which is sad, but it's okay. I did find out that you can potentially change your character if you want to. Where the hell am I? Oh. But yeah, you can change them later on, which is kind of cool. Okay. Let's go this way. This way. Earth Sprite. You get a Fantasia, which lets you change phrase. Yeah, that's what the person in the video was talking about. So I was like, okay, if I eventually want to change, I can. I don't know if I will, but I did want to be the bunny girl. First of all, she's hot. Second of all, I wanted to be cute bunny. First of all, she's hot. Second of all, she's hot. Exactly. Exactly. You get it. You get it. She is. That's why I wanted to choose her. Okay. What? Where do I go? This way? Do I go there? That person said their level question mark, question mark, question mark. Okay, I don't go there. I guess we're going to question mark, question mark, question mark. We're gonna die. Okay, no, we're not. Fun fact about male bunnies in this game franchise, they are hardly seen because most of the time they don't leave their village. Why would they need to leave their village, you know? I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing other than killing these guys, so... It says locate Mormo's urn. But I'm gonna guess that I'm gonna find it eventually. Okay. And that's why you don't see a lot of NPC male bunnies in this game? Yeah. You actually don't. Like... Use... Use it! Why is it not? Why am I not using it? Why was I not using it? Okay, we're gonna try again. Why was I not using it? You think only one NPC male bunny was shown in 14? That's it? Only one? We're gonna try again. You could select difficulty. We'll leave it as normal. If I die again, I'll change it to easy. Okay, let's heal up a little bit. Okay. So then, not this antidote. It only restores... Might die again. I don't understand though. Maybe if I heal up a little bit. If I heal up a little bit? Will I heal up a little bit? Will he leave me alone? Can I heal up a little bit while he sleeps? Antidotes are basically useless because not a lot of poisons can be healed by an antidote. That's so stupid. I'm gonna let him sleep. Okay. Okay. We did that one. Oh, it's right here. Right here. We got it. A moment, if you please. Pray allow me to shatter that urn. I thought that if I assisted you with your tasks, that my brothers might finally begin to take me seriously, so I followed you. Oh my god, dude. Hello, nosy sand rabbits. We're about to get skinned. Oh my god. There we go. I have to move my buttons around because the 7, I use an MMO mouse to play, so the 7 is like an awkward button to press. Ice 2 is weaker than Ice 1. Oh. Okay. It's an AoE, so it'll damage like multiple people. Right? Okay. Oh my gosh. So if you want to target multiple people, use Ice 2, otherwise stick to Ice 1 and Fire 1. Okay. Okay. We did it! And we didn't have to switch to easy. The results have been far too mild to make any difference. I'll never be I can't even pronounce that, a thaumaturge, like my brothers at this rate. I'll forever be pitiful, powerless little sibling. Aww. Poor baby. That's not true. I know. Poor child. If I destroy it, then maybe my family will see what I'm capable of. Don't you dare break my urn. It talks! I am Mormo, but I'm one of the nice void sent. It was the nasty ones that sealed me up in here for helping a mortal. If you'd be so kind as to open the lid of my urn, I would be happy to grant you a wish. Anything you desire. Fortune, fame. Ain't no way I'd open that thing. Power, is it a perfectly acceptable wish? In fact, I sense the late... There's no way. Do not open that thing. Oh my god, do not open that thing. Do not open that thing. Child, do not open that thing. Oh my god, do not open that thing. Oh my god, he's opening it. Do not open that thing, dude. Oh my god, look how stupid I look. Look, I'm like, hey, don't open it. And he opened it. Oh my god, he broke the urn after opening it. Boy is cursed, dude. What is happening? What is happening? Okay. We're back. We're here. Joined me at my trial. Plus, he was at your trial? Yes, he was. I'm impressed that you claimed victory in spite of this unexpected development. The teachings of the Yawning Abyss have served you well. Your experience and control thus demonstrated. I believe you are ready to add a new spell. Yes! I don't know. I got a new spell! Okay, I can't do the next one yet. So now we can focus on the main story. Okay. Okay, I look a little better now. I look a little better. Okay, the main... Where is it? It ain't here. It's not Tia. Do I have to go? I think I have to go down. Die first. I hate this place. I'm lost. Like, is it up or is it down? I think it's down. Okay. So if I go this way and this way, girl, the cold mode, I wanna. Okay, let me go this way. I'm gonna get this. I'm gonna get this. We're gonna understand what we're doing. Did we already? Oh my god, we could have just teleported here because I'm pretty sure I already did this one. Let's check. No, I didn't. Okay, never mind. Okay, well, now we did. Proceed to the heart of the sworn. Yes. Onwin. Oiwin. Oin. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Here's the letter. Have you read this, adventurer? No? It's your letter. Why would I read it? The identities of the thieves and their motives seemed faced to remain a mystery until you arrived bearing this ransom note. In it, the criminals state their price for the return of their grace's crown. And though it pains me to say it, I fear I have no choice but to... Too much is at stake to do otherwise. The crown symbolizes her grace's birthright and identifies her as a custodian of the UI legacy. It must be recovered. I will travel to the unholy heir and pay them their ransom. Though I am not foolish enough to meet these men alone, as they stipulate, I dare not bring my host of comrades. Ooh, would you consent to be present for the exchange? Yes. On behalf of those still loyal to Sultana, I beseech you, help us in our hour of need. Okay, okay. Okay. Thank you for the lurk. I'm gonna be ending soon anyways. Okay. Okay. Let's go this way. I cannot wait to get a mount. I am so freaking excited to have a mount. Okay. The destination is here. Waiting. We're waiting. Proceed. I've come as agreed. Now show me the crown. You'll have your precious crown once you've been duly compensated. Do you think me a fool? What assurance have I that you will honor your part of the agreement? Not only was the crown stolen on your watch, but it looks to me as if you violated the terms of our exchange. Did we not say for you to come alone? And given that you are not alone, what guarantee have we that there isn't a company of archers surrounding us as we speak, ready to feather me and my men the moment they catch a glimpse of the crown? You have made a mock of our trust. The deal is off. What? This the real thing? 1,000 thanks to you, boy. You succeeded where scores of thieves have failed. And now at last we have it. The power to create an army of undying soldiers. The traitor's spurn. Surely you must have wondered what it was like, what it was that you were handing over. Or did you assume we were feeling charitable? But you must feel terrible knowing that you brought us the doom of... Oh my god. What? This man. There's too many, Elowen. Run. Run while you still can. I will do my duty. Look how cute he is with his little mustache. Kill them all. Let's fight. What does this do? Feels... Oh, an ad is about to start in 5 minutes. I might, after this, I'm going to take a little bit of a break and get something to eat and stuff. No! Why are you coming after me? Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. What is this? Go away. Okay. Did we do it? Did we do it? I think we did it. We did it. He suspected something was afoot and ordered us to keep an eye on you. The Flame General, he ordered you to look after me? Aww. Oh my god. Let us speak again back in the city. Okay. Okay, I look much better than what I was looking like before. Who the hell is that? The source of her strength becomes clear. You may have beasted the golem, but you will not fare so well this day. What? Mournful voice of creation, send unto me a creature of the abyss, my thrall to command, that I may smite mine enemies. What is going on? What is going on? Why does this man hate me? About spending a month on your VTuber and not know. I was like, I need to go follow on Twitch. Thank you. Hi. Hi, Drowsy. Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. I just started streaming this early, so like this will be my new schedule, streaming this early, but this usually wasn't, so. Oh, I'm not even. Because it is 6 a.m. for me. And I usually streamed at night, but my schedule is all over the place, so I'm gonna start streaming early in the morning now. We did it! We defeated him! I don't know why he didn't like me. What did I do to him? I hope you have a good day too. They were responsible for the recent disturbances until now, as if the Sultanate needed any more enemies. You're one of the gifted. One of the gifted? You know, this marks the third time I found you in the midst of trouble. If I didn't know any better, I'd say you're a lodestone for it. Thank you, dude. Glad I started following you around. Who knows what grand conspiracy you'd stumble upon next. I jest. Had I truly been watching your every move, I wouldn't have taken so long to intervene in your latest altercation. Why are you following me? Who is this masked man? What is that? This crystal? Okay. Okay, now we can go there. And I think we can just teleport. What the heck? Where is it? To the Alchemist Guild. Yes. Yes. Okay. We did it. Don't be surprised you see me dressed. Does it surprise you to see me dressed so, LON? I was once... Oh. Look at you and your little mustache. You're so cute. They probably don't like when you baby talk them. Like, honestly, they'd probably think that that's rude. But I'm here baby talking them. Thanks for the valiant effort. She has returned to her former vibrant self. You have the gratitude of every Sultan sworn. LON. Yay!
Exalted vessel of Northal, guardian of Thanalan, 17th ascendant to the throne of Uldar, Her Royal Majesty Nanamo Ulnamo presides.
Oh?
Long live Nanamo! Glory to
There's voice
the
acting!
Sultana! Forever may she reign!
They regaled me with tales of a champion amongst champions, one whose tireless service to the crown merited the highest honor we might bestow. Never did it occur to me that it might be you. Bring it forth!
You're so cute. Look at her little dress. My God.
Betokening our gratitude and esteem, I, Nanamo Ulnamo, Sultana of Uldar, confer upon you this gift. Rauban,
Your Grace.
see to it that our champion is my personal guest at the banquet.
Okay. That sounds awesome.
As you command, Your Grace. I am Rauban al-Din. With the consent of Her Grace, I oversee the affairs of the Sultanate. Brave souls are few and far between in these times. I count my blessings when I find one. Her Grace invites you to join her at the coming banquet. I trust I will see you there. An honor, indeed.
Oh.
Until then, for the sake of Her Grace and the glory of the Sultanate, may you walk in the light of the crystal.
Yay! We did it! There's another quest. How do I... A matter of tradition. Oh. Was there another quest in there? Oh, there was. By the 12th LON, for an adventurer to receive a personal invitation from Her Grace. I'm so excited! MOD has been responsible for familiarizing foreign guests with our customs. Pray return to Quicksand and speak to her. She will tell you all you need to know. Okay. Okay. So now, what's on that end? The Adventurers Guild. We don't have that one yet. So we could just go to the plaza. Okay. And then we have to go to the Adventurers Guild. We also have to unlock this one. There we go. Momodi. Welcome back, Elwyn, and congratulations on your invite to the big soiree. To be honest, I never imagined I'd be explaining these procedures to you. It's actually only foreign dignitaries who get to hear me prattle on and on about royal traditions. Any road. I know you're a busy woman. I'll keep it short and sweet. Okay. You should be ready and waiting for the Goldsmith Guild. At the Goldsmith Guild. Mistress is expecting you, so you'll want to head down there now. Okay. Okay, okay. I'm yawning. Okay, I'm going to take a break for like 5 minutes and quickly warm up some food and use the bathroom and do all those things. I will be right back. Okay, we're back. Hi. Hi, Astro. How are you? How are you? I got food. I made fried rice yesterday. So I just warmed some of that up so I can eat because I'm a little bit hungry. But how are you? Okay. Where are we going? We have to go to the Goldsmiths Guild. I actually think that we have that unlocked. We do. Look at us. Look at us go. I also grabbed another energy drink because I need to wake up. Because yawning is a no-go. I cannot yawn. Okay. In case Mr. Mamodi didn't warn you, the box is locked. I am not permitted to give you the key. It's a final safeguard, you see. Only designated individuals are authorized to distribute the earrings to guests. In this instance, the person in question is none other than Mistress Mamodi. You need to ask her to open the box on your behalf. Pardon the inconvenience, but... Okay, so I have to go back to her? I have to go back to her. Okay. Yeah. Here you go. Yay! This is it, Elwyn, your big debut in Eldon High Society. The banquet is held in the fragrant chamber. Head over to the royal. Be sure to put on your earrings first, or he'll send you packing. Okay. Okay. Wait, why is it red, though? Does I have to put the earrings on? Is it these earrings? Now I can do it. Okay. So now I have to see how to get there. The chamber. Okay. We have not gotten there yet, so let's see. We have gotten to the Alchemist Guild, so maybe we can go there first. Oh my god, my food is hot. Just burned my mouth. Okay. So now... go this way. And we have to unlock that one. We have it. Platoon this one. Okay. And then it's this way. Banquet hosted by Her Grace, the Sultana, is due to begin shortly. Attendance is by invitation only. Yay! We're here.
All hail the Sultana. Your Grace.
All hail.
Raoban?
Oh my god, she's adorable.
Royal House of All, I, Nanamo, 17th of my line, have summoned you here. We are graced this day by the presence of a hero to Uldar and dear friend to the crown. Honored guests, I give you our champion.
She's so cute.
And with
I can't even. I pressed away. Oopsies.
Not to spoil your appetite, but Uldar is hardly so bountiful as this meal would have you believe. While we gorge ourselves, children starve in the streets.
Aww. Oops.
Nor can Her Grace do aught to help them. She is thwarted at every turn by those on the Syndicate who derive their wealth from the workers' poverty. Beneath her mask of stately serenity, she is aghast at the plight of her subjects. But there will be no hope for the masses until the crown is restored to power. I am truly grateful for all you have done for Uldar. But there is so much more to do.
So much to do. There is. It's okay. I am here to help.
What is it?
Oh, is that the
So
crystal I picked
bright.
up?
Almost like by the 12. Tell me true. Have you been troubled by strange dreams of late? Visions of the crystal? Mayhap you put them down to an excess of ether?
Oh?
Yes, you are like they were.
Like who?
Allow me to explain.
Please.
Before you came to Eorzea, there were others like you who fought the primals. Though they were not of this land, when the Guardian Empire threatened the realm, they helped bring together the three grand companies. And they stood with us at Cartano, that fateful day 5 years ago. The day we lost them. None who survived have forgotten the hero's sacrifice, nor would any man deny they fought alongside us. But the names of these heroes come not to our lips. The
I
once
love that it's
familiar
voice
pages
acted.
of
Oh my
their
god.
story
Makes me so happy.
are now blank to us. And in our mind's eye, their faces are naught but silhouettes amid a blinding glare. It is for
Thank you
this
for the
reason
follow. I
that we have
appreciate
come
you
to call them the Warriors of Light.
so much. Ignore that I'm
When I look at
eating.
you, I cannot help but think of them and of what you might achieve.
You couldn't follow me. That's weird. That's so strange.
You must protect that crystal at all costs.
I wonder
It is
why.
a gift from Heidelin, mother of all, and one she gave to you for a reason.
Okay. There's a weird glitch in the
Yours is
follow
no
button.
ordinary
That's
tale.
so strange.
If I am right, the fate of the realm may yet hang upon your deeds.
Upon me. Why is it always no? Why is it always
Only
me?
heroes and martyrs are fit
It said
to
there was
bear
an
such a
error.
burden.
That's so
Let us
strange.
pray you are the former.
Oh, am I having a vision? What is this vision?
Flames to the fore!
That has never happened to me either. It's so weird.
Victory belongs to the bold. Show those imperial whore sons what we're made of.
The left flank buckles. Divert the barracudas. Bid them hold that position, though it costs them their lives.
What is happening right now?
The yellow serpents are in need of succor. Pray, send the white wolves to their aid. The adventurers risk life and limb for our cause. We must not fail them.
You can't hear the stream. I don't know. Everything looks like it's fine. You hear it just fine. The mute button was on, bruh. Bruh. Oh my god.
No, it is nothing.
What is happening? Oh. Twitch being Twitch. I know. You're having so many problems right now. Follow button's not working. You're muted. You're a mess. Oh my god. What is happening? Twitch hates me. It's okay. Twitch hates me too. It's fine.
We are being watched.
By who, lady? It hates me too.
Raging Bull, calling Bloodthorn.
Oh.
Bloodthorn, respond! Respond, damn you!
What is happening?
Ryder, this is Raging Bull. What news?
We're surrounded by a blaze. There is no way out. God preserve, what is that thing?
Oh no.
What's going on? Speak to me!
God damn it! We cannot hold much longer.
Don't die. Oh my god.
Snake! Mad Snake! Answer me!
Mad Snake. These nicknames.
Damn it all to the seventh hell!
What of the barracudas? Can they not be reached?
No, they cannot.
Sorry, Admiral. Shell's not working.
Oh my god.
What of our own?
I cannot say, my lady. That monstrosity appears to be disrupting our communications.
We must keep trying. Call till they respond.
Yes, my lady.
Admiral, General, we can do no more. We must give the order to withdraw.
Bay. Hi.
I will not forsake Louis Soir.
General, please. Victory may belong to the bold, but there will be no victor this day.
How are you?
You know this to be true. Let us not sacrifice lives in vain. The adventurers fight bravely, but to no avail. Let them withdraw, and let us be the ones to stand with Louis Soir.
Louis Soir. I'm also awake and alive. Awake at 6 a.m.
Previous orders. All
Mind you.
Maelstrom units are commanded to fall back, effective immediately.
Thank you for the follow. I appreciate you so much. But I'm doing good.
Give the foreign levy priority.
I have not
Let
slept.
the main host
I
cover their
actually
retreat and bring up the
decided
rear.
that I'm going to be switching my schedule to stream in the morning.
Damn
You
it.
slept too damn much? I haven't slept. The last time I slept was yesterday night.
Well, use them, you bloody
Yesterday.
halfwit.
Yeah. But I honestly feel okay. But I'm gonna switch my schedule to be awake at night,
The
I think.
outcome of this
Or
battle
be awake
was
early in the
long
morning.
since decided.
I haven't decided.
Better to retreat now than risk a massacre.
Oh my god. Yeah, retreat sounds great.
This dark, stifling presence. Who or what?
I literally just got the sub this morning. So that's why I'm playing it. Because I was like, everybody's been playing it around me. So I was like, I need to play this game. So I got the sub this morning. And I've been playing ever since. It's been like 4 hours since I got it. That I should live to behold Bahamut once more. What? What in the... Magnificent. The eons of imprisonment have made him hungrier. Are you a healer in this game too? Gotta do my Dawnbreaker stuff, so I'm ready for the next expansion. You are! Ooh, we'll have to play. I have to play once I get to the point. I'm level 100 though. Yeah, once I get to the point of being at a level that I can do like dungeons and stuff. Because I'm a baby and I'm like level. You're on 100 too? I'm a baby and I'm like level 15. How you feeling, Elwyn? They said you fainted in the middle of one of the general's stories. I had to carry you back to Hourglass. I got to level my other jobs though, so I'm down to just run random duties with my tank or DPS classes. Ooh, yes, let's do it. I'm down. Like I said, once I get to the point where I can actually do dungeons and stuff, I'm down. I'm glad to see you're back to normal. No offense, but looking after you is getting a bit tiresome. Wow, rude. So that you're feeling up to it, you should come and see him in the Hall of Flames. Probably wants to finish the story he was telling you when you fell asleep. I didn't fall asleep on him. Down to join if you need another body. Of course, yes. Yeah, once I'm like at the point of like actually being able to play with people, I'm very excited. How do I get out of here? Like this? Yes, exit room. Hold on. What else is in here? I know. Don't you worry. I'll be playing nonstop the next couple days. I'm just gonna walk there. No, I'm not. I'm lying. I'm not gonna walk there. Well, no, I'm not gonna walk there. Oh my god. You were a good healer when we played Throne and Liberty. I miss Throne and Liberty so freaking much, and like I've tried to play it again and like just play it again and open it up and try, but it's so dead. I don't know. I even joined another guild and everything. Like I really tried to revive it. Like, revive it. I'm so glad it was free too. But it's, yeah, it's dead at this point. So I was like, I need another MMO to play because I love MMOs. So I started to play WoW a little bit, but everybody's playing this. And I was like, okay, I'm getting like FOMO. I need to play this game. So I've been playing. But I was playing WoW for a little bit. "5 years ago, we looked on powerless as our brothers and sisters were taken from us." You used to play WoW too? Yeah. I was playing WoW, but then people were scaring me because they're like, oh, when you get to like end game content and you start doing dungeons and raids and stuff, people are really, really mean. And I'm like, I don't really want people to be mean. So then everybody's like, this game, everybody's super nice and welcoming to play this game instead. So I'm here now. Even within guilds, people suck if you make a single mistake. That sucks too, because especially like when you're learning things, like you're gonna make a mistake and it should be okay. You haven't looked back? Oh my god. Yeah. You can tell who the WoW players are? Oh no. They're definitely nicer. That's what everybody tells me that. So I'm like, okay, I want nicer players. Like, I understand that we should know basic mechanics. Like, I completely understand. We should know basic mechanics and like know basic things. I get that. Like, I totally understand that. But I feel like if it's a mechanic that I don't know and I ask, like, I'll be like, hey, like, what do I do? And people will be like, in Throne and Liberty, people would be like, if you've never played this dungeon before, we're kicking you. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, oh, okay. I guess. Thank you, dude. I hereby grant you permission to use the airship routes connecting the 3 city-states. This pass serves as proof of your privilege. Thank you. Gone are the days when airship travel was available to all. I'm not horrid, though. I didn't play WoW until the end of Dragonflight. Good. Stay not horrid. Because if you're going to play with me, you're going to deal with lots of mistakes. So. I'm not alone in seeing it. Your potential is plain. Plain. Should your path be barred by man or beast? Strike fast and true. Okay. Now go, Elowen, and head the crystal's guidance should you ever lose your way. Thank you. Okay. Now I have to go speak to... Oh, wait. I should go this way. Because I have to speak to her. She's in the Adventurers Guild. Okay. Right, I think she's in the Adventurers Guild. I think. Momodi. Why? Why did you get flashbacks? Elden Ring invasions. Oh my god. It is true. WoW endgame is pretty toxic. I used to main tank in WoW, so I guess I wasn't as concerned about my DPS, and my DPSers in WoW are very toxic. The DPSers in WoW are very toxic. Yeah, that's what everybody was saying. They're like, endgame in WoW is really toxic, and I never got to endgame really. So I was like, I don't really want to get to endgame if everybody's gonna be horrible. Honestly. Will you be bearing the great man's words to the leaders of the Alliance, will you? And by airship. Bugger me, that's an honor and a half, that is. I was always needed, so I didn't get much of it towards myself, but I def saw it. Yeah. That's how Throne and Liberty was, like, at the end of it, too. Like, I feel like Throne and Liberty got so much worse towards the end of, like, me playing. Like, people were so rude, but I was DPS, so... I don't know if you ever played Throne and Liberty. It was a lot of fun, though, in the beginning. Not many people get to go on airships these days. In fact, most folks go to their graves having never once seen Oraze. Oh, I don't know how to pronounce that. This outfit is cute now, right? It's not bad. There are nobody people were dicks if you were farming your build gear and didn't have it. Yes, exactly. Like, why would I be in this dungeon if I'm in this dungeon to get the gear that I need? Why are you mad? Like, so annoying. But I honestly liked playing the dungeons and like figuring out all the mechanics and stuff. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun. Azia. Okay. I'm like, I don't know. That's one thing with this game. I don't know how to pronounce anything. And because there's no voice acting, I have to read it sometimes. The struggle is real. I can't pronounce shit. Like, I'm not good at English, okay? It's hard. It's hard. Where the hell is this? At the airship's landing. Bruh. Okay. I'm gonna figure this out. This city, bro, I don't know where I'm going like 99% of the time. The map is all kinds of ass. That's my only gripe with this game. For real, it's so bad. Like, I'm like, I don't know where I'm going. Like, at all. But I think it's this way. Yeah, I think it's this way. Hello? Hold on, my daughter is asking for something. What? Cape? Oh my god. Okay. You get used to the map over time. Getting all the city crystals at the start helps. I know. I have yet to get them all. I really should. You have a few hundred hours, never figured it out. That's gonna be me. I'm gonna be looking at the map like, don't know where I'm supposed to be going. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. My daughter needed tape. Oh my god. If I'm not mistaken, you're the Flame General's envoy. Elwyn Moonvale. Yes. That's me. Check the map, click on everything you possibly can. Still no idea what the fuck, where the fuck I'm going. Honestly. No fucking clue. Like, at all. All aboard! I don't know, I felt like somebody needed to say that. Attention all passengers. The airship bound for Limsa Sure, is about to depart. It's so cool. Limsa Lobster. Nailed it. Shut up. I'm trying my best. I'm trying my best. I love that little dude with the mustache. He's literally my favorite. He's so cute. Limsa Lominsa is how it's said. I think. Probably. It's Lominsa. Lominsa. Yeah. I'm never gonna pronounce anything correctly. It's fine. It's fine. May you always walk in the light of the crystal. They're so cute. It's your favorite city? It's fine. Exactly. We have landed. Oh no, this ain't us. We're on like a boat. This is some... Oh hell no. What in the... Absolutely not.
15 years, but the bitter taste of defeat lingers still.
It's giving Star Wars right now.
15 years since the Imperial fleet set course for Mordona.
Oh, it's really giving Star Wars.
Mightiest of all vessels. Silver Till lay ripe for the taking, and all of Eorzea would soon...
Eorzea.
Or
That's how you
so
pronounce that.
we believed. But an innumerable host of dragons met us that day.
Is that a shrimp?
The heart of which flew the great Midgard Zormer. Though we succeeded Serpent's defeat was bought at too high a price. Our invincible flagship was lost, and all hope of victory with her. So ended our glorious conquest.
Is that a dog? Edgar the goat.
Eorzea, a blighted realm, riddled with false gods. Twice now it has eluded the Empire's grasp.
Why does it have to be
For all
the Empire?
destruction it wrought, even Meteor, the great
Giving Star
Sith,
Wars.
failed to yield us control over it. And for this failure, the realm has sunk deeper into depravity. It is
Depravity.
twisted beyond all reckoning, rotten nigh to the core.
I like this man.
Yet it must be
Bad guy
saved.
vibes. He's giving him. He is giving them.
Only Garlean rule can bring order to Eorzea. It falls to us to deliver the misguided masses from their ignorance.
We are of one mind, Lord Van Balthar.
Bad guy vibes. What the hell is that thing? What the hell is that? That thing looked disgusting.
Engineers, please report to Magitech research following scheduled inspection.
Oh, oopsies.
Hey,
You have no
is the
idea.
Legatus
Oh my
really
God.
planning to take
I'm scared.
another tilt at Eorzea?
Hey? What hole have you been hiding in? We're in the midst of preparing for a new campaign, and a huge one at that.
I am terrified of
But
what's going
I
on.
thought the Emperor had given up the Western lands for lost after Carteneau. What could the Legatus possibly hope to gain by acting alone?
I sense you harbor certain doubts over the wisdom of the Legatus's plan.
And the ad starts in like 2 minutes, by the way. It's sexy time. Oh,
My lord!
my lord. Who are you?
Please, call me Nero. Tell me, where were you born?
Othard, my lord.
My lord.
Alamigo, my lord.
Ah, codename Hummingway, I presume.
I don't know what you...
Silence. Your denials will not change your fate.
Oop.
I assure you, Frumentarium sees all.
Oh. Oh. Rip.
Clean up this
Rip.
mess, and do not miss any, or I shall be most displeased.
At once, my lord.
My lord.
Garland, soon you will be made to know the true power of Magitech.
What is going on? Oh my God. What in the bad guy era? This is us. Okay. Limsa Laminsa. Thank you for the head pat. Thank you for the head pat. Oh. You must be the envoy from Ulda. Welcome to Limsa Laminsa. Laminsa, madam. I wasn't going to pronounce that name. Lord something. Leaving the landing area? Yes. I've just given up. I've given up. There's no way. Please proceed to the crow's lift at your earliest convenience. It'll take you to... Okay. Speak with Zanthel. He'll be pleased to show you into the Admiral's command room in the bridge. Okay. Okay, I guess not there. Okay, I guess not there. Where am I supposed to go? Oh. This one. Yes. Storm Sergeant. Greetings, madam. Welcome to our fair city. If you would permit me to examine the seal in your missive you carry. Here you go. Here you go. Everything seems to be in order. My apologies. We cannot afford to be complacent. You understand? Please step this way. Okay. That's fine, sir.
Enter.
Oh, isn't it that person in our
Send an adventurer to speak
in our
for them.
dream or
It appears the
whatever?
Uldans place great faith in you. This way.
Merle Webb. Merle Webb. Okay.
I bid you welcome. I am Melve Blufisvin, Admiral of Limsa Lominsa, and Commander of the Maelstrom.
Milweb? Blueswin. Yeah, that. Okay. Anyways.
Now, what news from Thanalan?
She said it. Didn't. Oh my god. Did not click. A memorial service to honor the fallen. Seven Hells. Has it been 5 years? 5 years since the Garlean Empire sought to wrest Orzea from our grasp. It was the answer to the imperial threat that the city-states formed the grand companies and forged Orzean alliance anew. But Garlemald was not content to wager all on the simple contest of Marshall's might. Cleanse our realm by snatching the lesser moon. We could not prevent what followed. From inside the shell of Dalamoon came a winged nightmare, the dragon the size of a bloody city. Is that, oh my god, is that what was being taken? A dragon? Once we put aside our differences and rebuild now, our foes will catch us unprepared. And I speak not only of the beastmen. Do not imagine that the Empire has forsaken its claim on Orzea. The Imperials crowd our borders, waiting to strike. Time is short, and none will save us. Save ourselves. That's a lot of reading. I mean, I don't mind reading it, but saying it out loud, I'm like, ah. Your duty is done here, adventurer. I'll see it too that the Flame General receives my reply. I'm kind of cute now. I'm kind of cute. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here for now. And we are going to find somebody to raid. Oh my god. What is on? Huh? You made a what? I don't have more tape.
Well, it literally ran out after like.
I don't have more tape.
Bro, you have like duct tape?
I don't know. I'll have to look.
Okay.
I'm gonna stop streaming in a little bit.
Okay. Do you have glue?
I don't have glue, Megan.
Oh.
Oh my lord. From getting stabbed to making out, it is sexy time. What? Oh my god. Sorry, my child. My child came in. Of course. Asking for tape. What do you need tape for? Good question. Don't know. I don't know. Ooh. Should we rate somebody else playing the same game? Probably, right? Let's rate somebody playing the same game. I don't know how it came from. I just started saying it whenever anything is about to happen. What? That's so random. That is so random. Okay, we're gonna raid this person. It's also their first time playing. You are random. You are random. You right. You right. I'm gonna put my raid messages in chat. The first one is for followers and the second one is for subscribers. And then I'm also going to add the Discord in chat. So if you're not in the Discord, make sure you join so we can play together, or add me on Discord. I'm just B with D on Discord too. And then we're going to raid somebody playing Final Fantasy also. Anyways, it was a bunch of fun. I'll be live tomorrow morning again, playing the same thing. And